Hi and welcome back to Lavender Coco Kitchen. Well, I was thinking about ANZAC Day coming up and wondering what's a good recipe to do. So I thought about pavlova because there's always been some debate over whether the pavlova originated in Australia or New Zealand, although the idea of the meringue cake actually goes back a lot further, and it was actually named after the Russian ballerina Anna Pavlova, as she toured both Australia and New Zealand in the 1920s. And it seems like there's probably a chef in Australia and New Zealand who probably both came up with similar ideas. Pretty much it's probably done in either country. So that makes it a good recipe for ANZAC Day, of course, because it celebrates Australia and New Zealand. So I thought I'd make pavlova, and I mean, being a dancer myself, I am inspired by Anna Pavlova. One of my favourite desserts before I became vegan, which of course it normally uses egg whites and a lot of sugar, so also with the diabetes I don't really eat it anymore, but I have tried to make vegan meringue and it can be a little bit tricky. So I thought rather than do a cooked meringue, I'd try a raw meringue instead. And I actually found a way that you can do a raw meringue using chickpea liquid and then put it in the freezer. And once it's been in the freezer for about an hour, it actually develops that nice marshmallowy texture, which is a feature of a good pavlova. I'll just show you my attempts at vegan meringues that are cooked. As you can see, they're quite dry and crumbly, and they taste all right, but the oven temperatures affect the results a lot, and I have a feeling the oven temperature for these was too high, and they've probably dried out a bit too much. The method I'll show you to make raw pavlova is something that's a lot easier and doesn't really require any particularly special skill to get good results all the time. And since it's for ANZAC Day, I'm going to make a base for the pavlovas out of an ANZAC biscuit type of recipe. So I just got some crushed nuts in here, and I'm going to make up a cup of these with some desiccated coconut and rolled oats, which of course are in ANZAC biscuits. So just make a cup of these. So I'm just using these ingredients to make a cup of mixture. So just tip it in a bowl and mix it a bit. So you can see it looks a bit like ANZAC biscuit mixture. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of cinnamon, which of course if you have diabetes, cinnamon helps to lower blood sugar. And you'll just grate in some nutmeg. You could use ready ground, but it's more tasty if you just grate it from the whole nutmeg. Probably about 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, so just use a bit of coconut oil just to bind it together a little bit. So probably about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons. Just a little pinch of salt and just mix it up. And yeah, I forgot to say, if you want to put it, you can put about a teaspoon or so of coconut sugar into the biscuit base mixture, just to give it a little sweetness. You can use a spoon or just rub the oil in with your fingers till it's a bit of a crumbly mixture. So our ANZAC biscuit crumble is done. So we're going to make the meringue now, the actual pavlova tart. So I'm just going to use some liquid, just from a can of chickpeas, or you could boil your own chickpeas and reduce the liquid and use that. And also you need to have the chickpea liquid cold, so you can just put the can in the fridge the night before. And now I just need about 1/3 cup of just the liquid. So now I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla paste, or you could use vanilla extract, a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum, which you can buy in health food stores or in the supermarket. And it just helps to stabilize the meringue. so that it won't collapse as easily. And you only need like 1/4 of a teaspoon, so it's not much. Now you just need to beat it till it's starting to form soft peaks. So as you can see, it's forming peaks. So now I've got 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. I'm just going to add it in gradually while it's still beating. Okay, so I've kept beating until it's forming really stiff peaks, and you can see it's not going anywhere, it just stays firm like that. So that's ready now. Now I've just used the crumb mixture to make rounds on the tray to be the base of the pavlovas. Just put some on and just spread it out into a round shape. So now I'm going to put the meringue into a piping bag with a large nozzle like that. Just make sure you keep the top closed. Right, now we just need to pipe onto these bases here. So just start in the middle. It will come up a little bit, and then just go around and just continue around the edge. So you have like a nest kind of shape like that. Just refill the bag again when you use up what's in there. And maybe you could try doing this without a piping bag, but I think a piping bag makes it a lot easier. And you can buy these in like kitchen stores or in the supermarket sometimes. So when that's all done, you need to put it in the freezer for at least 45 minutes to 1 hour, just so it firms up. As it gets colder, it develops the marshmallow-like texture. And you can actually leave these in the freezer for 2 or 3 hours, and they'll still be fine because it won't actually set hard. And I've even left them overnight and it's been okay. It's probably best done and eaten on the day that you make it. So I just put these in the freezer now. So while your pavlovas are in the freezer, you can just get your fruit ready for the topping. Got some strawberries and blueberries and kiwi fruit, just following the ANZAC Day type of theme. And I'm going to make a poppy decoration with those, as the poppies symbolize war remembrance. I've also whipped some coconut cream. If you need a recipe, I've got one up on YouTube. So when you want to serve them, you just get them out of the freezer and put on the cream and the fruit, and it's ready to go. So as you can see, these have firmed up in the freezer. That base we put on it makes it easy to move around so that you can easily put it on a plate. And you can see the base has stuck to the bottom, and it's a shape like that. So you just need to fill them with the cream. Just squirt a bit of cream on, or you can just use a spoon for this. Now we just need to decorate them with some fruit, blueberry, and we can just make some petals like a poppy. So you could just put a little grating of nutmeg on them if you like. Or you could just put a little cinnamon, just a dusting over top. As you see, they form a bit of a crust on the outside, and inside is a sort of a marshmallow texture, if I can show you. There we go. It has got that nice marshmallow texture of a pavlova. And got that nice taste as well. As you saw, it's pretty easy to make. Just a tip, if the weather is quite hot, which it is today, you need to serve it immediately, because as you see, they will start to melt and deflate a little when they've been out in the heat. Don't get them out until you're ready to serve, and then just enjoy. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.